Welcome to Paladin Financial Talk. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm here with our host, Ellie Robinson. And Ellie, great to be here with you once again. This is going to be a great show. Matt and I kicked off a series on saving money. Hate to use the word frugal. Last week.
Last week.
It seems like a year ago to me. Matt used the word frugality, and I told him that sounded like a made-up word. So today's show, you're going to talk about creative ways to save money.
Yeah, we're just going to expand on that topic.
And I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I want to know some creative ways to save money. And you can still have fun while saving money, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty of things to do out there.
There's some innovative ways we can get this done, and you're going to share some of those with our listeners and viewers today. But before we get into that, I haven't talked to Ellie since the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And so, Ellie, tell me about your 4th. What happened?
I was supposed to go up to Forest Lake, but it was rainy that day.
It was rainy.
So I ended up meeting actually my boyfriend's parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, how long have you had a steady boyfriend?
It's been a few months now.
Yeah, I was going to say, this wasn't...
Now this is public. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is a relatively new development. Because when you first did the show, I did the first show with you that you hosted for Paladin. I don't believe there was a significant other at that time. Yeah.
There was not.
Yeah. I knew it was only a matter of time.
I mean, it's the summertime, vibes are high. Everyone's feeling good. And this just came out of left field.
Yeah. Well, that's great, though. Yeah. And meet the parents.
I met the parents.
That happened over the holiday weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any family here in Minnesota, and Minnesota is so family oriented around holidays. So usually I spend it with like my friends and their parents.
Sure.
So I was like, you know what? Let's spend the 4th with this new situation. And it was so much fun. It was raining, so we didn't go out on the boat, but his parents have a hot tub in the backyard.
Nice.
So I was pushing. I was like, can we please go in the hot tub? And it's raining. It's like downpouring. I was like, can we please go in? It was so much fun.
You actually went in the hot tub in the rain.
Pouring. Yep. I mean, it's like a warm rain though. It's the middle of July or beginning of July. So it was fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, but you sounds like you get along with the in-laws then, huh?
In-laws. Yeah, it was.
Well,
it
your
was
boyfriend's family.
Yes, it was fun. They're such like fun people.
That's good.
Great. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
now, where do your parents live again?
They're in San Diego.
That's right. San Diego. I love San Diego.
Yes. So I'm going to go visit them next month, actually.
I lived in Costa Mesa, California,
Did you?
For a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, about 5.5 years I lived in Orange County.
Okay.
So I'd head down there once in a while for a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, I saw Tom Petty on the End of the Great Wide Open tour at there's an amphitheater somewhere down there, close between Orange County and San Diego.
Yeah,
but then we went to San Diego afterwards. So yeah,
love it. I love Southern California.
Yeah, that was back in the late '80s, early '90s. So,
what a time!
Yeah, it was even nicer then. Yeah.
The traffic now is just not great.
Yeah.
I do get frustrated at that.
I went back not long ago for the Gradient Summit, actually, that financial conference.
Yeah.
Last January. It was a couple of Januaries ago, and it was tough.
It was
getting around.
Oh yeah, with the traffic. Yeah.
I still love a lot about Southern California, but there's a lot that makes it tough. The cost of living out there.
The real estate is atrocious. I'm fully aware.
Yeah. Yeah. Your parents could probably, if they own a home in San Diego, I assume they own their own home there.
Yeah, I mean,
if they sold that, they could probably go buy a small country with the amount of money.
Absolutely. The place that they're in right now, it seems it's not that big,
right?
But yeah, I could buy a nice big home over here.
The tiniest of tiny 1-bedroom homes are like $1 million. It's crazy compared to here in Minnesota. But speaking of money and things costing a lot, with inflation, with high interest rates, people are looking for ways to save money. And especially once you hit retirement, but all of us, whether we're young, it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s or in your 70s, it makes sense to watch your spending and watch what you're spending. I hate to use the
Absolutely
B
right.
word, but
Nope,
look at
absolutely
your
right.
budget, look at what's going on nowadays.
Mhm.
I think it pays to be smart, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I did wanna start the conversation today on type of the budgeting
Okay,
conversation
sure.
because we can talk about, saving money all we want, but it really does come down to the budgeting foundation. So, how you spend your money is very personal, and
Yep.
what I kind of try to ingrain to my clients is try to identify what are your priorities in your life. Where do you really want to spend your money?
Pizza and records. That's my
Yeah,
I have an answer
yeah,
immediately
and
for you.
yeah, and so, like,
There's nothing wrong
for
with that.
example yeah, and so, for example, for me, I highly value, like, my health and fitness, and
Whereas I value pizza. You're already trying to make me look
no, no,
bad.
no, not at all. It's just, like, I
Let's
would
hear.
much rather spend, a lot of money on fresh seafood in
Sure you
Minnesota
would.
rather than maybe going to a concert with friends, and I don't really care who the artist is because it's not just $100 concert ticket, it's also an Uber and
Oh,
probably cocktails, and I
you don't
wouldn't
want to
care.
drop $500 to see a band.
Yeah, it's just see
Yeah.
someone that I don't care. So it's like that's where I really prioritize. I'm like, what do I want to spend my time
Huh.
and money on?
Yeah.
And some people do care about the entertainment and they want
Yeah.
to spend all their time,
Sure.
doing social
And you
events and
shouldn't judge people for what
no,
they want to spend their money on,
not
but
at
I
all.
will judge you. That's wrong. You're wrong.
Totally.
It is worth it. Music is the best. Frank Zappa said, "Music is the best," and that's a great quote because it is.
I know, Tony, I do love music, okay?
I
They
know.
have they have free concerts in, the Lake Harriet band shell. I
Yes.
live, like, a mile away, so I go there very frequently
Yeah.
for free
The
concerts, okay?
Wallflowers actually played A Taste of Minnesota, and that
Oh,
was very inexpensive.
yeah,
Could have saw the Wallflowers or the Time, Morris Day and the Time.
okay, I don't know that one.
They were in Purple Rain with Prince.
Oh, okay,
They have a couple of big hits from
okay.
that era, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis performed. Yeah, this was just this past weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the Wallflowers had a huge #1 hit with One Headlight, and that's Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son's band.
You're
So,
really nerding out right now,
yeah, I
Tony.
know. So you can find free or inexpensive concerts. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't even the point that I was trying to bring up in
I
this,
know I derailed
intro
it.
here. No, that's okay because it's just more so making sure like where you are putting your money and being intentional with it. And if you have a family and you want to prioritize, paying for someone to clean the house once a week and like prioritizing a couple of family vacations a year, then maybe, and you don't care about having a new car, then maybe be mindful of how frequent you're buying new car, so it's like,
Makes
where do
sense.
you really want to spend your time and money?
Right. Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
that is the foundation of establishing, like, where you want your cash flow to be,
Yeah,
and I'm a
makes
firm
sense.
believer in that, so
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense.
yeah, so we can start talking about deals, steals, and, ways to save a dollar now since
Let's
we've gotten that out of the way.
let's do it.
Okay, number 1, credit cards, you can absolutely use in your favor, okay? That being said, do not carry a balance. We don't want you to do that. But there are so many credit cards out there that offer like cashback or rewards or point systems.
Sure.
And some of the best credit cards out there, they do have an annual like fee associated with them. And usually they're along the sides of like travel rewards. But again, like if that is a priority in your own lifestyle, that might make sense to be paying, an annual fee for a credit card that gives you cash back. There's a lot of options out there. So I love leaning into that. You might as well.
Yeah, take advantage of the
Yeah.
perks. And some now it's very competitive. They
Yes.
are offering some really good perks. Now, credit cards can be dangerous for a lot of people though if you don't have the discipline to pay them off each month, right? I've heard you talk about that
Correct.
before
And
as
that's a
well.
whole nother conversation. But correct. If you have a good grasp on your cash flow.
Yeah.
And that's, just
For sure.
watch your budgeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the big one that I really wanted to talk about. I'm like, there is a good way to use credit cards, and I've seen it done, and it's actually a lot of fun once you
Yeah.
get into it.
It is, because if you can make big purchases on a credit card and then just pay them off right away, even if you have the cash, make sure you have the cash, use your credit card to pay for it, then pay it off when the bill comes in, and you're going to get all those rewards from those purchases.
Exactly
That's
right.
huge.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even some of them will have like 5 times the points accumulated on grocery store purchases or something specific. So I mean, if you're just getting started and getting a credit card, if you're not really familiar with that, just get an easy one where it's a cash back or just normal points. Don't pay a planning fee. Don't pay an annual fee for a credit card that you're just using, for basic expenses. But if you know that you are going to be more on the entertainment side of the lifestyle and paying for a lot of flights and hotels, then shop around because you can get some good deals out there.
Yeah, and if you want to plan a couple of nice vacation or two a year, a credit card that offers travel perks and rewards might be the way to go.
That's
Yeah.
what I have to do since I visit my family at least twice a year in
Wow,
San Diego. So I do pay for a credit card.
that's good.
It's worth it to me
Yeah,
because of
that's
my
smart.
lifestyle. So,
Yep.
so that's number one, credit cards. You can
Yes.
use them for good.
Yes.
Number two that I have here is there is no shame in buying things used. This is my specialty, Tony. I don't know if you know this about me.
Oh, wow.
I love finding a good bargain, and it's probably because I have a little bit more free time in my life right now. I don't have kids, like I don't have a lot to take care of. So I do have some extra time on my hands to go shop around, and I very much enjoy it. But there is no shame in shopping around on Facebook Marketplace or consignment shops, especially if you know that you need something.
Right.
So for example, I bought my couch. I brag about my couch all the time. I bought my couch when I moved into my current place about 5 or 6 years ago now, and it was probably retailed at a $2,000 couch, and I bought it
Wow.
off Facebook Marketplace brand new, and I had negotiated it down to $800 cash.
Wow.
And that is to this day my most proud purchase.
And it wasn't like all used and
No,
nasty cat hair.
It was this young
stain.
couple, that I bought the couch off of in Edina, and it was in their basement, and they're like, "We just never use it, and we want a different one for the family." And I was like, "I'll take it right now.
Yes.
Here's the cash."
Excellent.
So you just never know what you can find out there because I feel like our country is so consumer driven and we
is.
like buying things, and you are bound to find something gently used out in the marketplace if you absolutely need something.
Facebook Marketplace is amazing, the
Yes.
deals you can find,
Yes.
especially on furniture, I've noticed.
Yes.
Yeah, when we needed furniture for our daughter's apartment at college, Facebook Marketplace found some great deals. And usually people will take, especially in bigger items that are harder to move, I notice those go slower.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't have a truck, or people don't like to move things themselves. So sometimes a huge dresser or piece of furniture or a bed or a couch, you can talk them down and, hey, I'll come and move it out of your house right now for this price. And they'll be, yes, please.
I did that with my kitchen table too. I have a marble table.
Nice. Fancy.
It's smaller. It's not like this big, huge table.
I don't make that big financial planner money you
but
do, but
no,
wow,
I mean, I was
table.
online for weeks because it wasn't a super dire need. I didn't need a table right then and there, but I'm like, I have a vision of what I want in my space.
Yep.
And I saw this marble table. It was actually up in St. Cloud, Tony.
Oh, wow.
And it was listed for maybe like $150. Like it's smaller.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just gonna watch it. And it was still online a couple weeks later. And I reached out to the guy and I was like, I'll buy it for $100 and I'll pick it up right now. It was like on a Saturday morning. Yeah. He's like, it's yours. So I drove up to St. Cloud to pick up this marble table, which I could not lift on my own. It sat in my car for a while until I could find someone to help me bring it up to my apartment. But you just never know.
You got a whole office full of people who could help lift things down at Paladin.
I know there's
Paladin Financial
plenty
team.
of men around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you need something or want something, just look.
Oh, it's not just the men though at Paladin. I'm not being sexist about it. Nikki could probably
she absolutely could.
She's in pretty good shape. She could probably lift it.
She is.
Yeah. So that's great. And you're right, buying used. There are certain items that I will not buy used, that I'm weird about, that I have to buy new. But the bigger items and items that, couches couches and beds, like mattresses, couches that people have sat on, I'm a little weird. I'm a little ADD about it, or OCD, fine. I should say, not ADD.
OCD.
I'm I'm an ADD too, as you all know. But no, I'm a little OCD about that. But like, it's crazy if you find something that's hardly been used, like that couch, or a car. I think cars are
Yeah.
where people don't realize a lot of people buy new. And it's crazy because a low mileage vehicle used to be more so, would cost a lot less. Now they've evened out a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's still a lot less. I mean, you can still save $5,000 right out the door, easy.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. We've gotten all our vehicles with about 20 to 30,000 miles on them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, very
yeah,
low.
yeah. People buy cars they can't afford all the time,
All
or
the
they're
time.
business company cars or leases and have low mileage. You want the low mileage ones because then you know it wasn't driven into the ground.
Yeah, that's true, and it'll
Yeah.
last you, and yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. See, there's smart ways of shopping used.
Yes, there
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even clothes, though, I'm gonna quickly squeak that in there because I do shop around for consignment, shop
My wife
stores.
and daughters
Yeah.
do that a lot,
Yeah.
and my son. I've just never been into used clothing, but you know what? My wife found some shirts at a garage sale for me, and they're great. I think this is
The
one of them I'm wearing.
quality
Yeah.
in newer clothing items nowadays is just in my opinion, is going down the drain, and I would
Yes.
much rather shop at a designer secondhand, like, consignment shop
Yes.
where I know that it is a true, silk or, cotton, and there's no synthetic blends in it.
Right.
It's worth it. You
Yeah.
can see if there's wear and tear on it. Don't buy it if it's too used, but
Right.
I spend a lot of time doing that, and I love if it's like a win. It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look at this thing that I just found."
Yeah, and some people are just good at that. My wife can go into Goodwill and find the most amazing thing. I'm like, "That looks great." And she goes, "Goodwill." And I'm like, "It looks brand new." And she goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it was." Sometimes she'll find stuff, designer stuff with the tag on.
Mhm.
I go in there and
Mhm.
it's like, "Ooh, yeah,
You have to do some digging, but
yeah,
if you have the time and that's something that you might,
sure,
save $1 on.
sure."
So that was my second
Another
point there.
great way to save some
Yeah,
money.
absolutely. Consuming yourself with low cost hobbies is also just important, and just being mindful of how you're spending your free time in the phase of life where me and my peers are out or on is home improvement stuff. I feel like everyone's at home just fixing up their houses.
Yep.
And so pointing out that there's no shame in trying to tackle things yourself. You don't have to hire out for every single little project that you're trying to accomplish, and it might be a lot easier than you expect. Just pull up a YouTube video. There's so many resources out there for you to,
Yes.
learn yourself and take a weekend on doing something. It might take you a little longer than a professional, but it can save you a lot of money in the long term.
Yeah.
So I know that Jeff Quick was out a couple weekends ago sanding his deck for like the whole Sunday. He was talking about it one Monday
Wow,
morning.
he did that project himself, huh?
Well, I think his wife made him,
I'm
but
trying to picture him doing manual labor. I know he's a great financial advisor, but wow.
he said he did it.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
other low cost hobby ideas. I mean, the state of Minnesota, I feel like we're so good about having free entertainment in the summertime, especially. There's so many art fairs every single weekend, farmers markets everywhere, which have like free yoga sessions or I don't need to, just
Yep.
random
Yeah.
free concerts and whatnot.
Yep.
But we also have a lot of state parks around. You can always sign up for a local sports league, and those are pretty low cost, if
Yeah.
anything. I just signed up for tennis lessons actually through the city of Edina, just because I'm just a couple miles away, and so it was like less than $200 for a 6-week
Wow.
tennis lesson, and it's just once a week. It's nothing fancy.
It's because nobody plays tennis anymore. They're all playing pickleball.
They're all pickleball. Yeah.
Good luck finding a tennis court.
I know. Well, I played tennis when my family still lived in San Diego. So this was me being very small, like
Sure.
kindergarten, first, second grade before I moved over to Iowa. But I was like, no, I want to pick up a racket again.
Yeah,
and
I like
get in
tennis.
the swing of it.
The kids and I used to walk down to. We had a huge 3 big tennis courts,
Oh yeah.
in a park with a couple blocks from our house.
Okay.
And we walked down there all the time just to volley, and have fun. And the
Yeah.
kids, when they're little, loved it.
It's so fun.
And my wife and I enjoyed it and would go down there and volley a bit. Unfortunately, they're all pickleball courts now,
Okay.
and they're all full with leagues. So
I've heard that there's been a lot of tennis courts being flipped into pickleball.
It's the fastest growing sport in the world.
Everyone's loving
Pickleball.
it. Yeah.
I haven't tried it. How about you?
I haven't tried it
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
It seems too easy.
I don't know about that. I
I
hear
just
about
need to try it. Yeah.
a lot of people are hurting, like elderly people or people my age
Mhm.
are twisting
Are
ankles,
they?
having knee issues because they're playing a lot of pickleball and
Okay. Well, don't
moving
do
in
that.
ways that your body
Yeah,
shouldn't
don't be rolling
after
ankles.
65, So, yeah.
Well, that's good. Um, Piggybacking off of that is just finding local events in your area is going to be easiest if you are active on social media, or you don't have to be active, but having accounts, because there's so many Facebook and Instagram accounts that are trying to market themselves on these type of events. So that is really easy to get exposure to what's going on in your local area. So I did want to note about that.
That's good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of especially, you're right, Minnesota, our area. There are so many free activities out there and things to do. And for seniors who watch and listen to this, if you're a senior or retired, there's a lot of things you can do.
Oh gosh, yeah.
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 You can even take college courses for free.
Yeah, you
Some
could.
colleges offer that.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, we have a lot of museums that have either deals or free days and
The
art fairs.
Walker is
Yeah.
free on Thursdays, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and senior discounts too.
Yeah.
Those are everywhere once
Yeah.
you reach that
But
age.
even if you're young, even if you're in your 20s, there are things you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep your eye out for those type of opportunities.
Yep.
Next is saving money on services. So I usually have to remind some of my clients to be mindful of all the subscriptions they are signing themselves up for, because
Yes.
I think it can be very easy to just sign up for all of these subscriptions like HBO, Netflix, Peacock, because what they might range from $10 a month to, I don't know, YouTube TV might be $70 or $80 a month.
Yep.
So, but if you keep signing up for low, payment monthly subscriptions, that adds up at the end of the day. And before you know it, you're spending $200 or $300 on all of these apps that you might not be using to the full extent.
Yeah,
So,
we found ourselves in that situation.
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
9
easy.
streaming TV
Yeah.
separate
Yeah.
services.
Yeah. And it's like, how many are you actually using?
Yeah. Now there are 5 of us in our family. So, but I
Oh, that's
sent out
true.
an email to everyone. I did the family chat, said, "Hey, I'm going to start canceling some of these if you don't speak up. Here's the ones I don't watch." So
Perfect.
start there.
Perfect. And I mean, look into bundling subscriptions too. I think that is becoming more and more prominent.
Yes.
For example, so I use Verizon for my cell phone and my family's on my plan. So I have 4 lines on my plan. And it's been a couple years since I had called into Verizon and talk about like their plans that they have. And I was paying a certain like data usage every single month between the 4 of us. So I was like, oh, let's see if I should upgrade because we're using it. I ended up talking to this customer representative on the phone, and she said, oh, actually, if you go to unlimited data and you bundle with our HBO and Netflix like subscription, you'd actually be saving $60 a month. And I was like, excuse me?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
And like I had no idea. So
Right.
you need to, and this is a reminder for, not just me, but everyone, where it's like shop around if you, are paying for a cell phone bill or, Wi-Fi. I feel like those monthly bills just keep going up and up. I don't know about you, but at least in my
Yep, mine has
neighborhood,
just gone up and up and up.
yeah, my Wi-Fi bill just keeps going up every single year. And so calling in and negotiating, that was going to be my last like talking point, but just ask. Try to negotiate even credit card interest rates. You can call in and negotiate.
Yep,
And
I've done it.
yeah, and it is a huge tool. And what's the worst that they're going to say is no? Well, guess what? You can hang up the phone and call them back and get a different customer representative and ask them and
Yeah.
do it over and over again.
Yeah.
You just never know
Yes.
where you can save $1 just by asking.
Yep.
So
That's a great one. And services is an area where a lot of people probably think aren't going to take the time. But you really should call. I mean, my wife and I, we with insurance, with auto insurance, with homeowners insurance, you should never just let that ride. Like, oh, we've got this insurance for our homeowners insurance. We're just going to leave it. No, you should call them once a year and say, this is too high. What can we do?
Absolutely.
And they'll usually find a way to lower it.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's I've learned to do that, because if you let it go, they're just going to keep raising it and raising it.
Correct.
Until you call them.
Yep.
And then they're going to say, like in that case, oh yeah, you can get a lot more for $60 less with this plan over here.
Yeah.
It's like,
And they're not
Okay.
going to call you first, you
No,
know,
they're
like
not gonna just do that for you.
no,
"Oh, we could give them more for less. Let's just automatically do that."
exactly.
That's never gonna happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So make sure you do your due diligence and
Yeah,
shop around.
exactly.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So that was the last big point that I wanted to talk about was just the negotiation tactic on saving money on your bills.
Excellent. So how can people, I know people should also have an overall financial plan in place. You should have a financial plan in place. You should make sure, your money is in the right place, your assets are properly allocated, and get some more tips on what to do with your money. Ellie, how can people reach you at
Well,
Paladin?
yeah, you can give us a call so we can have a complimentary consultation, 651-842-8406. Or what I like to also say is if there's any topics that you'd like to hear about on our podcast, just shoot us an email at info@paladinfinancial.com. And don't forget to give us a 5-star rating.
Awesome. Yes. Give us an honest 5-star review, as Jeff Foley always
Yes.
says. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Ellie. And listeners, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk with our host today, Ellie Robison.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.